Right now, the biggest names in music are panicking. They've been linked to the biggest controversy in the world today through their ties to the industry's most powerful talent firm, Wasserman. This agency represents stars like Kendrick, Drake, SZA, and Tyler the Creator, and right now they're all in the hot seat. It all stems from the founder, Casey Wasserman, and a set of surface emails that just expose his private conversations with the disgraced financier's most notorious handler. In the last 48 hours, high-profile stars have officially walked away, while the biggest names in the game have stayed completely silent. Now everyone wants to know why the industry is scrambling, but the real question is, does this finally prove the connection between the music industry, the wickedest man in the world, and his circle of billionaires? In the industry, there are only a few top talent agencies that represent the biggest stars. Wasserman is definitely one of them. For years, they have held the literal keys to success, but overnight, they've become a PR nightmare. Now, being associated with them is a career death wish, and it's all because of surface emails from the company's owner, Casey Wasserman, to the world's most infamous handler. In these 2003 emails, Casey was labeled by the media as being flirtatious with easily the most evil woman to ever live. The two were emailing back and forth trying to plan a hookup session in New York where Casey requested she wear a leather outfit and find a place where they wouldn't be spotted together. He was even caught asking for a massage. If that wasn't enough, it was also revealed he previously traveled on the private jet belonging to the most wickedest man in the world. This is the man who was recently named the chairman of the LA 28 organizing committee, the man responsible for bringing the 2028 Olympics to Los Angeles. He's now feeling the pressure from all sides as the public, the talent, and even his own employees are demanding he steps down. Casey attempted to spin the situation, claiming he regrets the association and that it was 20 years ago before he knew of their crimes. But the people aren't buying that. We've already seen a massive wave of celebrities publicly denouncing and leaving the company. Stars like Chappell Roan made a public statement announcing her departure, letting her fans know they won't support a man with these ties. But you have to wonder, are these artists leaving because of their morals, or is it because they see the company's reputation crumbling in real time? While some have spoken out, the biggest names in the game are still silent. People are still waiting to see where stars like Kendrick Lamar, Ed Sheeran, and SZA stand. They've stayed completely quiet since these emails surfaced, leaving the world wondering why the loudest voices in the culture suddenly are so silent. For instance, Kendrick Lamar is known for his hit song Not Like Us, where he spent 6 minutes calling out Drake and accusing him of being a questionable guy. But now, the man who controls Kendrick's business deals gets exposed for his ties to the most wickedest man in the world, and suddenly Kendrick has nothing to say. To make this even worse, when names like Jay-Z were surfacing in the headlines for their connection to these records, Kendrick stayed silent then too. He didn't cut ties, he didn't make a diss track, he completely ignored it despite claiming he stands against everything those allegations represent. Now it looks like these celebrities in the Wasserman agency are trying to hide these connections from you. It was recently reported that Wasserman actually removed the entire section of their website that lists the artists they represent. It's a move that could only be seen as a desperate attempt to minimize the damage, but it's clearly too late. While artists like Chappell Roan have spoken out and jumped ship, many A-listers are still there and haven't said a thing, which is quite interesting considering people like Jay-Z and Eminem were directly referred to in the recent batch of documents, showing a potential link between the industry and the world's most wickedest financier. Now look, these allegations have yet to be proven in a court of law, but when the head of the biggest talent agency, Casey Wasserman, has already confirmed his past ties to that world, it's not far-fetched to believe the celebrities were connected too. It makes the possibility of your favorite stars being linked to those dark circles a lot harder to ignore. This is no longer just a theory. A lot of evidence is surfacing that is painting a clear picture that these connections are likely real. This is why I believe so many big-name celebrities keep popping up on that list. These celebs were brushing shoulders with these monsters. Now, they're all scrambling trying to avoid the repercussions of their past relationships. Despite Casey's emails surfacing, the Olympics still refused to remove him from his leadership role. They instead chose to stand by him. Many felt that by doing this, the industry was protecting the elite. Now, to understand why the industry seems to be protecting Casey Wasserman, you have to look at his bloodline. Casey didn't just work his way up in the industry, he inherited a throne. His grandfather was Lou Wasserman, the most powerful man in Hollywood history. We're talking about the head of MCA, who represented stars like Clark Gable and Betty Davis. Lou was the man who turned Hollywood into a multi-billion-dollar machine, and he was Casey's primary mentor. Casey even changed his last name from Myers to Wasserman just to carry that weight. Les was known as the Godfather for a reason. He understood how to move in those dark inner circles and how to control the narrative. He literally raised Casey, teaching him the industry rules before Casey was even out of high school. So when we see Casey on a private jet in 2002 with the most wicked man in the world, we have to wonder, was this a family tradition? The Wasserman family is untouchable in Los Angeles. It's why the LA mayor and the Olympic Committee are staying silent, while the rest of the world is screaming for his resignation. They aren't just protecting Casey, they're protecting the legacy of the man who helped build Hollywood. Right now, they're doing everything in their power to keep those concerning emails from burning the whole house down. In the last few days, Casey wasn't the only billionaire who was put in the spotlight. Just a few days ago, 2 lawmakers forced the DOJ to unredact 6 names that were illegally being hidden. And on top of that list is Leslie Wexner. This isn't just another billionaire. Wexner is the founder of Victoria's Secret, Bath & Body Works, and Abercrombie & Fitch, and the one man people think is primarily responsible for creating the biggest monster the world has ever seen. For years, it has been speculated that Wexner was likely deeply involved with the entire operation, likely being the one man who funded it all. But for years, he denied and pretended to have no knowledge of any crimes the monster he created was committing. For years, there was no indication that the authorities were investigating Wexner, despite all the signs they should. But it turns out that the authorities at some point started calling him a co-conspirator, as that's what they listed him as, a name that the DOJ is being accused of purposely hiding from the public. On top of proving a possible plot to cover up for the elite, this also ends up being another connection to Hollywood. Back in the 90s, Wexner's good friend was literally posing as a scout for Victoria's Secret to lure in models. Executives warned Wexner about it twice, and both times he did nothing. He allowed the monster to continue to grow because they were 2 halves of one brain. Wexner used his brands to sponsor the biggest TV events and music performances, effectively deciding who became a star and who remained unknown. This was another entryway for people in the industry to end up involved in these dark billionaire circles. It's well known they use these Victoria's Secret events to recruit models, but it could have also been used to recruit celebrities. Many celebrities were known to collaborate with these events or just attend the party, putting them in the same rooms as men like Wexner and his really good friend. I wouldn't be surprised if career opportunities were dangled in the face of celebrities for their participation. You agree to hang out with this billionaire and make them happy a couple times, and you get that new role you wanted. Think about it, it's likely the same thing they did to those Victoria's Secret models. When you see Casey Wasserman linked to these same circles, you realize this is bigger than we thought. Wexner provided the bank and the Victoria's Secret talent pool, and Casey likely provided the celebrity access. They weren't just brushing shoulders with monsters, they were likely the ones who helped build the entire operation. They want us to believe the industry has no ties to these people, but now they're all scrambling to avoid going down with the sinking ship, literally publicly denouncing a company they were once proud to be a part of, in hopes of saving their reputation. But in my opinion, these celebrities that are now running aren't as innocent as they might want to appear. While they now all pretend they had no clue and did nothing, the reality is they were too close to the fire not to get burned. They were rubbing shoulders with these monsters. So when you're seeing all these big name celebs being named, don't be so quick to brush it off. As we can see, the connection was clearly there. Now a lot of you are asking, if this is so bad, why don't Kendrick and SZA and others just walk away? To understand that, you have to understand the sheer level of power Wasserman Music has over these artists. This isn't just a booking agency, it's a global monopoly. As of 2026, Wasserman controls nearly 1/3 of the artists at major festivals like Coachella. If you're a headliner, your entire world, your tours, your festival slots, your brand deals is run through their offices. For an artist like Chappell Roan leaving isn't as devastating because they're still building their foundation. But for an A-lister, the ones playing stadiums, it's a different story. These artists are tied to long-term touring contracts that were signed years ago. If they walk away, they aren't just leaving an agent, they're risking hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits and canceled tours. This is what happens when you partner with powerful companies like this. The industry is designed so that by the time you reach the level of a Kendrick or a Drake, you are so deeply embedded in the machine that leaving it would literally bankrupt you. Wasserman doesn't just represent them, they own the infrastructure they stand on. While the board for the LA 28 Olympics is standing by Casey Wasserman, the agency is quietly scrubbing their website to hide the names of the stars they represent. They want to protect the brand while keeping the talent on a leash. So when you see the silence from the biggest names in hip-hop, you see how difficult of a choice they have. It's either they stand up for what's right and lose everything, or they stay quiet and protect the monsters they work with. When Chappell Roan left, she said she wasn't passively standing by. But as of right now, the stars who claim to be the voice of the culture, people like Kendrick Lamar, are still on that roster. They are still being represented by the same man who was asking the world's most infamous handler for leather outfits and massages. This seems to prove that this entire mess is just as big as we all expected, and they're all involved. The question is no longer if the connections are real. The question is, are we really going to let them get away with it? I want to hear from you in the comments. Is Kendrick's silence proof that he never cared about Drake's accusations and he was just using it to diss him? Or do you really think that Kendrick stands behind exposing all these monsters? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you like unfiltered content revealing the truth, make sure to subscribe for more videos. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.